War Eagle Auburn family and E2C Network family, it is Wednesday night. And you know what that means. It's my favorite time of the week. It is our Auburn family live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight. As always, we remind you, this is the place where we talk about anything and everything Auburn, anything on the Auburn family spectrum, sports, family culture, all that good stuff. You can find it here. If it's orange and blue, it is what we do. As I said, tonight is Auburn Family Night, where the show is produced by you, for you, through your calls, your comments, your questions, your derogatory rebuttals. This show, every single Wednesday night at roughly 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are getting started a little bit early tonight. And so I always kind of warn you guys, just be ready, toying with some things these days. You can join us here on Wednesday nights to be part of the conversation, to just listen in, to comment along, however you choose to indulge in Auburn Family Night. It is here for you every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, sometimes a little early. With that being said, we are going to get into the normal routine of stuff that we do every single time that we get together around our proverbial campfire. We like to just check in with each other and use this as your official check-in period for the Auburn Family live stream. So right now, in unison, we're all going to do this together. If you're on the live stream, if you're watching on the replay, smash that like button. It really doesn't take more than 2 seconds, and it's a huge thing you can do to help us out. Smash the like button on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, however you're watching the stream tonight. Please do that for us. And also, check in with us. Tell us where you're watching from, city, state, international, with the War Eagle, however you'd like to greet us. Let us know that you are here hanging out with us tonight. We'd love for you to do that. So we've already got a lot of people smashing the like button on Facebook. You all follow suit wherever you're watching at tonight. So I keep getting distracted over here. I'm monitoring the stream on my other screen, and it's doing some funny things. So it had me kind of nervous that you guys might have been having some issues on my end, but it looks like we're okay. All right. So as I said, the case is the same every single Wednesday night. We will be taking phone calls tonight. The link should be at the top of the screen or the top of the chat, the live chat, if you want to call in tonight. So please do that. Our show is always brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. We'll mention them a little bit later in the show, but just want to remind you that they're the ones that bring you the Auburn Family live stream every single Wednesday night. And we're going to get this thing rolling. So call in. We'll get you in line if there's a line tonight, and we'll get you in as soon as we can. So be patient if you're waiting in the green room. If you have a comment, question, any topic that you want to hit tonight, I know there's some big ones out there that most people are wanting to hit on tonight, and we will probably discuss those in great detail. You guys can kind of dictate how we do things tonight. Let me say hello to a bunch of you that are already here knowing the drill. We got Shannon on Facebook and checking in from Huntsville, Cleveland, Alabama with Dwight, Leeds with Thomas, Michael checking in with the War Eagle, Devin from Texas, Kevin Kelly's ready to beat Western Kentucky. I feel you, my brother. Everybody's ready for that game. Let me just put this into perspective for everybody tonight. This is the last home game. Have you processed that yet? Have you processed that we have made it throughout a full football season, albeit a bit of a struggle at times? We have made it to November, and we are looking at the very end of the season. And quite honestly, if not for a miraculous end to the season, there's only 2 games left. One more after this Saturday. So let that sink in. I know a lot of you are probably like, yeah, let's just dismiss this season and move on to something else. But be thankful, because, sometime there were some days in the past it didn't look like we would even have Auburn football season. So I am sad to see it slowly but surely coming to an end. Devin brings up the basketball topic. What a game on Monday. Watched it again today. Well, that's some commitment right there. We got to get it together after our rough start against USF. We have to get it together. Are you talking about the previous game after that one? Yeah. So it really looks like the team kind of hit like a little upswing in offense, the men's basketball team. By the way, the women's basketball team, I think, is starting their game like right now. So if anybody is kind of following that vicariously or simultaneously, I guess I should say, let us know and let us know how it's going. They're playing Georgia Tech tonight. So it's actually a big matchup. I believe they won last year here in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a big deal. I know a lot of people don't get into women's basketball, but we're the Auburn family here and we support everybody. So wanted to at least give them a mention. Dusty from Pensacola checking in. Yeah, it is. I think that's probably the reason why football means, well, not the reason. There are many reasons why, but football means so much, even outside of Auburn, to people because it's so finite. Like you've got this small 3-month window, essentially, where it exists and then it's gone. Like, yes, you have bowl games, but even like this year, Auburn probably won't make a bowl game. You've got spring practice to hold you over, but it's still not the football. So literally for Auburn, the reality may be when we hit December, we got a lot of things to hold our attention until then, but it'll be kind of a process of just playing the waiting game until we get to September again. It is sad. It is senior day as well. Coach Caddy has gone on record several times. He did so today during the SEC teleconference, calling for Auburn fans to show up to this game. My hope is that everybody will do that. I will be there. By the way, Booster Club members, you might want to check your app, your website later tonight. May have something for you, but I will be at the game and excited to be there. Already got the ticket situation settled, and I am sad because I love bringing the game day experience to you. That's what we do. If you guys follow us on social media, if you follow us here on YouTube too, you see the Tiger Walk live stream and all that kind of stuff. But I love bringing the experience to you on game day. This is the last one. We'll get to do kind of a small version of that on A-Day in April, but that's 5 months away. So sad for the seniors that are going to be leaving on a somewhat sad season, but I'm sure that the way things have kind of changed trajectory here at the end of the year, it's been probably a relief for them. Let's see. I didn't want to watch it, so I got you now. Spooky Buffalo. I don't think we've seen you in a while, my friend. Iowa checking in. So we got Minnesota, Iowa checked in tonight, Texas. Man, we got to get, I've seen people from South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana checking in before. So let us know if you haven't checked in yet. Everybody's getting here. I think a lot of people are probably like, it's 8 o'clock and you've been going for a little while. Sometimes I like to go a little bit early. I'm putting the feelers out there, just seeing, who can get on earlier, who wants it earlier. And tonight, if our conversation continues to carry itself, our schedule normally is for an hour. We might stay over a little bit if we get multiple callers tonight or anything like that. So if you are just getting here, do smash the like button. You guys know the drill. Check in. So many of you are already doing that for us right now. Spooky Buffalo says it's been a while. Work life, man. Work life. Yes, I get it. I understand. We're just happy to see you here and happy that you're checking in with us. Just wanted to know that I noticed you hadn't been here in a while. So it's getting harder and harder. I'll pull back the curtain a little bit for me as a content creator to remember everybody's actual names, handle, IDs or not Twitter handle, YouTube handles, whatever you use to identify yourself on here. But I try to remember because we're growing and all that kind of stuff. But it's a challenge sometimes to keep you guys completely straight in my mind. But I appreciate you guys being here tonight. All right. I've got things that obviously I can and want to talk about, but I want to hear mainly what discussion topics you would like to hear tonight about. Is it the coaching search? Is it, Lane Train or not? Is it this basketball team right now? Is it, Suni Lee deciding that this is her last season? Just put a video out about her talking about that a little bit. Hope you guys will go check that out. And I also hope that you go check out the video today. I detailed a little bit about Cancun challenge coming up, about what you can expect from that. So it looks like we got our first caller in the queue. We'll bring them in just 1 second here. Really excited about the volleyball team, Thomas says. Yes, they have kind of like not died off, but like the hype kind of has leveled right now. But I'm excited to see what they can do in potential postseason play here. How many scholarships left in basketball? That is a great question. I'm trying to do quick math in my head. Devin left. Who else left? Somebody else left. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we can come up with that in a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to be hitting a lot of that discussion point tonight, Spooky. All right, he wants to talk bass fishing team. Look, we can always talk about it, but I'm not going to have a lot of good content for you guys in the bass fishing team. All right, let's say hello to our first caller tonight. You know him, you love him, Mr. Dusty. What's going on, sir?
Well, buddy, how you doing tonight?
I like that. I like that shirt, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm watching. It was Western Michigan and somebody. If you got a chance, just flip over to ESPNU. You can barely even see the players. It's just covered in snow. The whole.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, man.
Oh man. So I don't know if I shared this. I know I shared it on a show recently. Maybe it was the Auburn Experience live recording. I don't know if you were there or watched the replay, but my dream is to go to this. Brian, I know, remember he talked about it because he's from Minnesota, is to go to either probably preferably the Wisconsin stadium, but go for the Wisconsin Minnesota matchup for the Paul Bunyan acts in the just driving snow. That's like one of my college football bucket lists. I want to experience that.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to one of these MAC games, man. I mean, this looks cool, but
yeah, it'd be cool. Like, we don't get to ever experience snow football games unless we go up there, and then they play all the bowl games down south, most of them. So it's kind of like, the opportunities for Auburn to experience snow football games is very limited.
I have a friend that's his family's from Chicago. So one Christmas I went with him to Chicago, and I mean, I'd never been north of Tennessee, where I'm from.
Right.
And yeah, dude, I think it was like 4 or 5 degrees at kickoff. So
jeez.
Yeah, I actually went up to the concession stand and got like 4 baked potatoes, and I was sticking them in my pockets because they were warm. I was just sitting there holding baked potatoes.
But you should have seen some of the people in the stadium this Saturday night. You would have thought we had a blizzard. Now, look, it was cold. I was there. I experienced it. When the people started leaving next to me in Auburn Elvis, like it opened up this big old draft too. And so that's when I really started feeling the cold, because we were pretty packed in there to start off with. So I'm sure there were creative methods to stay warm. I think that the hot chocolate line in the concourse of the stadium was like wrapped around the entire stadium.
I believe it.
It was,
and like we kicked the field goal to go up 13-3, and then they came back from commercial and the place was empty. So I was like, I know it's cold. Hey, we got it in the bag. We're out.
So it was funny too. So I stopped for a second to right at the beginning of the third quarter to take a panoramic picture, with your iPhone. Yeah. And then I looked at, and the way the lights were on me, I couldn't really see all of the upper deck. And then finally it kind of like focused past the light, and I was like, oh, there's nobody up there. And then I was like, what happened? We're in the middle of a game here. Where did everybody? And I was like, oh, the snow, or not the snow, the cold.
Yeah. No, I mean, that A-Day this year, that wind was ridiculous.
Yeah. It was, that was a pretty that was probably I don't know if that was the most chilly. I can remember at least one other really chilly A-Day. So you know what that means. This A-Day, we're due for like a blazing, just scorcher of a day.
I've done those too. I kind of prefer those, to be honest with you.
Spooky says he wants to pack up the snow and send it to us. Listen, if it's going to be cold, I want it to snow. That's my opinion. Like, I hate cold unless it's snowing. To me, it makes it worth it.
I hear you. I'm cool with 100. I know that's not a popular thing, but I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But man, so what I wanted to talk about was, I was kind of thinking about it today, going into watching the game last night, coming into the season, I think the 3 spot was kind of where I was worried the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to see exactly what Chance was going to be, but Chance came in and ran point immediately. So it's pretty apparent that Bruce wants him to be, be a guard. If I was going, like, say, SEC game crunch time right now, what 5 are you going to go? I would probably say Wendell at the 1, Chance at the 2, and then Flan at the 3, Johan at the 4, and Dylan / Jalen at the 5, depending on how somebody's playing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll maybe move Jalen over to the 4. But I mean Broom. I'm sorry, I meant Broom.
Yeah, I
Giant
got you.
Broom.
I understood.
But it's I think that Chris Moore, man, he is really adding some quality minutes there. And I think at the 3 now, you're good with Flan. You're good because people always want to judge Flan off of his points.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Last night he played great, and he just the way this team is going to be. You're going to have guys like Wendell and Janai who are probably going to be your leading scorers more time than not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be different guys, man. There's going to be nights where some guys just don't get a lot of points.
Right.
But I think that we're good at the 3, so it's going to be really interesting to see when Chance, because you can just see, man, like basketball IQ, his ball handling is so clean and so fluid. He's playing sooner than I thought he was going to play. I was thinking it was going to be somewhere closer to conference play. So by the time we really get into the thick of the schedule, he should be good to go.
Yeah.
It's exciting, man. I think one thing too is we talk about depth. We can play matchups. Like if we got some timeouts, Kyle, and we're in a tight game, you let Wendell run the offense, and then if you got to get the stop, okay, let's get Zepp in there real quick. There's so many matchups that you can do. I'm excited, man. I really am. I know the concern, but
the opportunities and options that Auburn basketball has this year is to start off the year. Now we'll see how things change, progress, all that kind of stuff, starting lineups, how people are utilized. But it's just a wealth of opportunities and just, I don't know how to riches. Like it's the 2020 year, 20 or 19 year. I'm trying to it was the one that was cut short by COVID ending March Madness. That team was kind of coming on strong. They had we were
going to make a run.
They were, but they almost had this kind of team where it was like very depth was there, not to this extent where you have 11 guys that all need to find some time on the court. We had I think it was about 9 on a good day, 9 probably, 10 possibly. And it was difficult to find minutes there too, but that's a good problem to have. That's a problem that Bruce would much prefer, as opposed to being so thin, so depth deprived that you have to play Simeon Bowers at the point guard. Like, I don't know if you remember that, but
no, I was at a game where he had to do it. We played LSU the Ben Simmons year, and all Ben Simmons did, Canty had just got dismissed from the team. All Ben Simmons did was just go to his right, drive the hole. That's all he did. He did it for 40 minutes, and they beat us by like 8.
Yeah. I will never forget Clint and I getting ready to do the Inside the Jungle podcast, and then the news started to spread that was I said, this is a joke, right? Like, we're not that bad off that Bowers has to be our point guard. And then it was true, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was back in 2015 or something like that, but I can still remember to this day just turning the TV on. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And he wasn't terrible at it. Like, I mean, he was serviceable, but it was just like Simeon Bowers, the center, as much as a center can be for us at that point in time, is your point guard. And couldn't wrap my mind around it.
I'm going to buy the basketball book this weekend, as long as it's still at the bookstore, obviously. But, man, some of that is kind of like, boy, I hope there's only a page or two of this.
Are you talking about the one from Van Plexico and John
Ringer?
Ringer?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I've watched all those games, so I just
yeah. They're good guys. I actually got to meet them this weekend at their book signing and talk to them. I've interviewed Van Plexico on Auburn Roots for Tell His Auburn Story. I haven't had the opportunity to do John Ringer yet, but good Auburn folks. They do a really good podcast over there at the AU Wishbone. If y'all haven't checked it out, you should. Rob continues to try to find ways to spend my money for me. No, we are not to the point where we can charter a plane down to Cancun.
That's not the surprise in the Booster Club?
No, that's not the surprises in the Booster Club are literally like things that I have the opportunity to give that I didn't have to pay for sometimes, outside of, t-shirts and things like that. Minor things. So I'll put it in there later for you guys. So y'all
I don't need plane tickets. I need train tickets.
You need train tickets. Oh my gosh. We gonna start that tonight. Well, give me your take on that. I don't have anybody else in line, so you can stick around for a little bit. So I know people want to talk about that. So what's your take? What you feeling? What you
Yeah, I
hearing?
haven't talked football on here in a while.
Yeah. Well, you'd haven't needed to. Let's be honest.
No, Saturday was beautiful, man.
It
I
was
can't wait to go
beautiful.
this Saturday. Did you see the tweet that Trevon just put out?
No, I've been checked out for a few hours. So
Yeah,
what
they
do you
put
do?
it was just them kind of following Jalen running onto the field. It's awesome.
Yeah.
3-6. But I think that the good thing about this one is like, man, and you never know. I mean, we could come up and get some guy that I'd have to like research his name, which wouldn't surprise me, or like Will Muschamp or something. But it's just, man, like it just seems like Lane Kiffin is the move. For him and for us, and like we all know that there's something there. I mean, this
Right.
isn't just coming out of nowhere. Now, whether it
Right.
happens or not, I don't know. I'm subscribed to all their sites for whatever that means, and they all kind of say the same thing. Listen,
Right.
it's in the works. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. So,
Exactly.
whatever that means, I don't know. I think what Josh Pate said the other night, and it's kind of gone on in these last couple of days, is really interesting to me, especially after watching what happened at LSU, where it's like the way Pate put it was that there's like big names that you wouldn't expect that are in communication as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, and he the way he put it was, he said names that the Auburn people would not mind, that, like big time stuff. So that kind of gets you speculating. I just was messing around today. I put out a picture of Dabo, and that's actually kind of picked up a little bit of steam or whatever.
Well, what was funny about that, I did see that, is that had kind of started earlier in the week. Like there was somebody who was hinting at Dabo, and I was like, "Are we being serious?" Like, now you were here 2 years ago, I believe, and you heard me at the first start saying the only one that would have made me happy after firing Malzahn was Dabo Swinney, because he checked the boxes that I had at that time. And so I was like, "Are we doing this again? Like, is this a legitimate thing, or is this us just stirring the pot type of thing?"
I can see why he would make the move.
I can too.
Like taking off my Auburn goggles, right?
Right.
You're in the ACC. You've pretty much tapped out there. You know what it's going to be. He's going to play 1 or 2 big games a year up until playoff time if he makes it. And he's done all he's going to do there. And as a competitor, like, because he's still a young guy, does he want to stay there for 20, 30 more years and just keep doing the same thing? Mm-hmm. Or would you come to Auburn where everyone knows what the resources are? He's from the state of Alabama. He knows what it means. He knows what it is. Whether you're coaching Alabama or Auburn, people want to be a part of games like the Iron Bowl.
Right.
Like you want to be in that kind of thing. Clemson is where it's at right now because of Dabo. Mm-hmm. Auburn's always going to be Auburn. Like if you just take those programs like in a vacuum and look at it, we crushed Clemson, really. If you like the last 10 years, they're
our copy too. Like we're basically the same school.
They really, in their stuff, they really are like, hey, we took some of this from LSU, we took some of this from Auburn.
They took most of it from Auburn.
Yeah, we'll get the LSU fans going on the Death Valley thing, and I don't blame them, because I mean I would much rather play at Clemson any day. But so I could definitely see why he would make that move. I could obviously see why he wouldn't, and he's Alabama alumni, there's that whole part of it. But that doesn't. I mean, Pat Dye was at Georgia, and then what was it, Dooley, Auburn. So that kind of, you just never know. That don't mean really much of anything. And everyone's kind of with Dabo. Everyone's kind of said because of the Alabama connections, he's going to step in and take over Saban. Let me tell you something. Dabo's too smart to do that.
I hope he's too smart.
Alabama's going to have a harder time than people think because filling that spot. Someone will take it because it's a lot of money. It's the most high. It's like someone's always going to coach the Los Angeles Lakers kind of thing. Someone's always going to want to manage the Yankees. But like, man, you're talking about going 9-3 and having people like for sale signs in your yard. So it's good. It's an impossible situation. They've already gone through it with Bear Bryant. Go back in history and look how that went.
Right.
It's just they're going to be a victim of their own success at some point with that, and I don't think Dabo would want any part of that. Me personally, it's Lane Kiffin number one. Just what we need to do in the portal, what he can do, obviously high school, and just look at his track record. The guy can coach offense. Like, do you have any doubt that in 2 years we would be scoring points?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Okay. And what's been the last 5 years? What are we struggling to do?
Score in the fourth quarter, really, but yes, scoring in general. Yeah.
I mean, we're just not putting up points. I mean, we don't score. Like, it is crazy when you go back and look at our numbers, especially considering how open offense in college football has become. We just really struggle against big time opponents. Right. So there's just so much about Lane, and I understand what people's concern. Well, he hasn't stayed anywhere more than 3 or 4 years. I get that. What I would say to that is, if he stayed 4 years, do you think he would be leaving us in a better spot than where we are now? I certainly think he would.
You'd like to think so, yeah.
But I also don't think, and history, there's a precedent for this. Not a lot of people are going to leave Auburn. Actually, when they get fired, they still want to live in Auburn. And not a lot of people just like coaches don't leave the Auburn football team. The only way I would see Lane leaving, if he came to Auburn and everything was working and it was all successful, which I have a hard time seeing how it wouldn't, would be for the NFL. And at that point, in my opinion, you nailed the hire. Like, if a guy's good enough to get a promotion and you can't compete with the league, like, that's the ultimate goal. And I think Hoganson had made the comment saying, like, Lane Kiffin, like, the way he wakes up every day and views football is, his goal is to win a Super Bowl. And obviously it would be if you know about his dad. So that's the kind of guy I want. If he was to come in for 5 or 6 years and then go on and coach the Cowboys or something like that, like, and you won a lot of games, you nailed the hire. And then why not keep Cadillac and start kind of training him up on play calling and how you run an offense and coordinate? Because Lane Kiffin's a coordinator.
Right.
So whoever your OC is, that's just a title.
Right.
But you can make that, you can use that in recruiting. And obviously we see Cadillac is pretty good at recruiting. He's already taken a bad situation and at least stabilized our recruiting situation. Right. It's not a free-for-all right now. Whoever comes in will have something to work with. We'll have a board and prospects to go out and their relationships are built with. So I think you keep Cadillac, you train him up. I would like to see Zach and Ike, but you're not going to keep 3 coaches. I know that.
Never know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think those guys are great, and like Lane, I see some people commenting. You have to listen. I think anybody that comes in at this point kind of understands. I have to keep Cadillac. Like,
you'd hope they would.
Yeah, it's just read the room, man. Like, read the
question. The question is, though, let's assume it's Lane. Do you think Lane cares? I don't think he does. No, I'm not saying he won't keep him, but I'm just saying I don't think he gives a flying flip about it.
No, and he shouldn't. And like ultimately, in 2 years, if we hire Lane Kiffin, I really feel like, I mean, it's the SEC West, so there's always going to be these like 3 or 4 toss-up games a year, even when you're really good. But if he got somebody in there, defensively, I don't know who their current D coordinator is and all that now. I would love to see Travis Williams come back, something like that. I don't know. There's talk about, him and Jeremy Pruitt having a good relationship. Pruitt's one heck of a recruiter, good defensive. There's just a lot of things you could do. So, yeah, man, I'm all aboard the Lane train. That's kind of where I want to go. And
I was on board till you said Jeremy Pruitt. I don't want him anywhere near my program.
Are there issues there? Like, are there I don't know.
I don't have facts to back it up, but I have people that tell me things, and I don't like Jeremy Pruitt. I'll put it that way. No, I mean, listen,
I don't know. I don't have any of that. So,
well, let me just say this. I don't have facts. I have people I talk to, I trust, and also people that I trust that have the complete opposite opinion of him. But never mind. It goes too far. And people can change. Look, some of the rap behind Lane is his past. Some of the rap behind Hugh is his past. People change. People grow. People, become
See,
better people.
I think that the Lane stuff with his past is much different than Hugh's past. And me and you have talked in person about the stuff with Hugh. I just don't know enough. I just don't know enough there. Like,
Right.
I would have to see. I mean, what was done was bad, but at the same time, I always have to remember I've done some things that if y'all knew about, y'all would definitely look at me different. And I think we all, you know what I mean? Like I think
We
we
all
all
have.
have those. Yeah,
We all have.
we all have those in the closet. So this is a guy that's living his life on the public. Listen, I mean, I'm not condoning some of the stuff he did, and it does as much as I just want to look at the football with him. Which if it was just about football, you couldn't get me to shut up about Urban Meyer. I
Right.
promise. But the dude, like,
Oh
literally,
no.
but the
No,
dude,
don't do Dusty. Don't do this to me.
listen, I said if it was just about football.
But for me, it's not even just about like morality or anything. I cannot, like, why would you want a guy that spends 2 seasons somewhere and leaves you in trash?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
one thing that Ohio State had going for them was Ryan Day. No one could have foreseen that Ryan Day was going to be as solid of a, kind of, it almost looks like the Cadillac situation a little bit. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but like the fact that Ryan Day was as solid as he is, and it's Ohio State too. Like they got a pretty foundation to walk from.
right.
I cannot like let me put it to you this way. Just to tell you my disdain. I would hire Nick Saban today 5 times over before I bring Urban Meyer anywhere near my program.
I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So I went to high school with Trent Richardson, right?
Yeah.
And we were track season was starting. I ran track, and track season was starting with his recruitment. He was down to Florida, LSU, and Nick Saban. And right there around that final week, all 3 guys came to visit him. And it was like one day after the other. Nick Saban came down when we were stretching, spoke to all of us, encouraged us. It was quick, whatever. He was clearly there for just Trent, but was still nice. Some people obviously want to walk up to him. Oh, Nick Saban. I just went up and started my sprints. But and we didn't even, I guess we had just named Chiswick at that point. I don't know. Because that would have been 2009. But and then Les Miles came the next day, and Les Miles like ate lunch in our cafeteria, ate our cafeteria food, was like taking pictures with everybody.
That sounds like a Les Miles thing.
Seriously, he was eating like pizza pocket and cafeteria French fries. Like he was really cool, man. And then the next day when Urban came out, like I don't even know how to describe him. He wasn't mean to you, but like you ever just around somebody where you're like,
yeah, you just don't want to really even converse.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on you, but like
you knew you didn't want to speak to Saban because of reasons, obviously.
Right. It was just a fan thing. I'm not going to go there and wait in line to take a picture with him.
Exactly. Like but real quick, I want to interrupt your story, but just because you said that, it reminded me when I was in high school, Brody Croyle, the Alabama quarterback, was at this. We went to a senior lunch and he was at this same place we went to go to lunch. And so everybody, even the Auburn fans, were like crowding around him, getting pictures with him. And there's somebody took this picture. All you see in the background is me just scowling at him, like all taking just like I didn't even know I did it, but it was just me like giving the worst mean mug ever to Brody Croyle, who's apparently a great person. No, but like I'm just like can't even deal with it. Sorry, but that's
no, you're great because that one's over. But that another quick. So we're at a like a Christian steak. It was a banquet thing, and Brody Crowell's dad. It was me and my dad, and Brody Crowell's dad spoke at it, and he was talking. I think they do like work with like troubled kids, and they adopt them.
It's Auburn actually does some, at least at one time. I think Gene was very heavy with this, or I forget the Hope Ranch or
something like that.
Yeah, same thing, kind of similar stuff.
Yeah, so he was doing all that, and like awesome family, like they were really cool. I still remember the whole thing. But he goes up there, and I mean, Kyle, there's 300-400 people at this thing. He goes up there, and this is his dad, and my dad just puts a steak down, gets out a War Eagle, and then like 11 sacks or 12 sacks or whatever it was, like yelled out the number. And everyone there just turns and looks at us. Like, you heard it. I know he heard it. We were right there. I'm just like,
right.
Pop.
Come on, buddy. It's like, settle down. Yeah. All right. I do have someone in the phone line. So if you want to round out your thoughts tonight.
I'll see you at Tiger Walk. I think
Yep.
it's going to be a hard fought. I hope that, man. I hope we can at least get close to selling it out. If you can get there, man, please get there.
Yep.
Like Cadillac's the coach for 2 more weeks. Let's get out there and support it and just have fun. It kind of feels like a brand new season now. I'm going to go Auburn. I'll add some field goals now. We've made a change. I'll go 27-17 Auburn.
A little early prediction there from Dusty, man. Good to hear from you tonight. Can't wait to see you this weekend.
Yes, sir. See you, buddy. War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle. All right, great to hear from Dusty. We'll bring our next caller in here in just a second. I just took what I need. There it is. Got my things all messed up tonight. All right, before we bring in our next caller, though, let me do our little thing we normally do here. I want to remind you of our friends. You'll see them up in the top right corner there at allthingsauburn.net. Do go check them out if you can. They are a great place for you to stay at Auburn, but not just to stay, but to have a full and complete Auburn experience. Miss Tanya there runs the show, and she is one of the best Auburn people that I know. So please do go check them out if you can. The game day, Auburn Game Day Center, you've probably seen them right behind Mama Goldberg's, close to everything you need. Downtown Auburn, 0.3 walking miles, which is basically 5 to 10 minutes of all the big sports venues. Allthingsauburn.net. Please do go check them out. All right. We've had a really good start to our talk tonight with callers. Let's get Mr. Positivity in here. What's up, Kevin?
War Eagle.
How are you doing, buddy?
I think we will win the next 2 games.
The next 2 games. So you got us winning Western Kentucky, and you got us going into the HE double hockey sticks of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and beating the Crimson Tide. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Because they're struggling.
You know, I will tell you this, Kevin. They are struggling in the way that Alabama struggles these days, which is not that much. But they are, and comparatively, they are struggling this year. But I think we are also seeing a certain level of struggle too this year with a little bit of optimism right now. So I feel good about your prediction for Saturday. I don't know if I'm sold on the Iron Bowl just yet, but maybe you can convince me otherwise.
I think Tank will get another 100-yard rushing game this Saturday.
Didn't you love see not only Tank, but Jarquez, both of them together getting the 100 yards? Wasn't that awesome to see? We haven't seen that in forever, like 2 backs doing that.
Is the game a sellout yet?
Not well, they haven't announced it, but they didn't announce the sellout. Well, actually, they announced the sellout probably like midweek last week. So here's my guess. It's not going to be a sellout just because, you know, it's Western Kentucky. Everybody kind of got their big hype last week with Cadillac's first game as a head coach out of the way. So it's kind of like, you know, I've done that. I've seen that. So most people are, and it's going to be it's going to be during the day for the most part, but it's still going to be a chilly day. I think we'll be probably about 95% when everything's said and done. That's just a guess for me.
My prediction is Auburn 35, Western Kentucky 12.
12. So you got 4 field goals for them. That's it. That's all they're getting.
Yeah.
Or I guess that could be 2 touchdowns and 2 missed extra points, or that could be a safety and a touchdown, 2 safeties actually. Anyway, you can do the math however you'd like. It's an interesting score. I'll give you that. Are you going to be at the game Saturday?
No, because I'm going back to Wimmer, Alabama for Thanksgiving.
Well, I hate that we didn't make it happen this season for meeting each other at Tiger Walk or something like that, but it's always next year.
Do you go any basketball games?
I would love to go to some basketball games, but have you seen some of those ticket prices? I had an opportunity to go to this last one, last Friday, and I gave the tickets to some people who very much deserved it more than me.
Oh, you did?
So I'm hoping I'm hoping I'll have an opportunity to go again sometime soon.
Yeah, the guy who I bought tickets from to the Auburn Arkansas game, he's selling the 2 pair for $40.
Oh, for this next basketball game?
No, Western Kentucky.
Oh, the Western Kentucky game. Okay, well that sounds about right. That's probably $20 a piece for a Western Kentucky game. Sounds about normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to be at some basketball games this year.
And I'm
My
hoping
guess is probably not going to be many, though.
I win the Iron Bowl ticket so I can be at the Iron Bowl game.
Oh, so you want to go to Tuscaloosa, huh?
Yeah, that 2 or 3 years ago, we played at Tuscaloosa, and I tailgated there.
Did you get treated nicely?
Yeah,
Oh, well, there you
I
go.
found some Auburn fans, and I stayed around their tent all day.
That's a good decision on your part. Listen, may I recommend to you, you do something very similar if you go to Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge, Louisiana is a place unto itself, and I don't want to say I wouldn't ever go back there for an Auburn game, but you got to really convince me, because we had not only did we lose the game in 2009, but it was just a horrible experience how we were treated and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know, I know it. Not every fan's the same, but I'm sure those stories are similar. I'm sure there's stories from Auburn too for other people, but not a good experience. So if you go to Baton Rouge ever, stay with the Auburn fans.
you know that Jemiah Cobbs had 4 touchdowns in that playoff game.
Listen, Jeremiah Cobb's been doing 4 touchdown games since game 1 of this season. He is a beast.
Hopefully he gets Auburn.
There was some, listen, when you see these kids post things on social media, remember, and I'm not saying this to you, Kevin, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
But people forget that these kids see what we are saying about them, and they like to get a reaction sometimes. So people were like overreacting when they saw him have a Georgia towel on the other day. He did that just to get a rise out of people.
Yeah.
And this week he was sharing some good things about Auburn. He's committed to Auburn. Until that changes, I'm going to take the guy at his word that he's staying, even though I've seen people's word go back 1,000 times during the recruiting process.
When they recruit guys from Thompson High School.
Why Thompson? Just because they're good?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this. Just because they are good as a team doesn't mean that they have the people that we need. They're not good players, but they may not have the positions that we need to recruit from.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see. What else you got for me tonight to round out our call?
I think the baseball team and softball team be really good this coming season.
Well, it's going to be, I think the softball team, they had a number 25 recruiting class they just brought in. So pretty good. Not as good as their last one, but when you have the outstanding class they had last time, it's kind of hard to replicate that. So when you combine that with the way they were heading at the end of the season last year, you could see softball having another step forward. Baseball, it's going to be hard to match what they did last year. But if you looked at their recruiting class from this year, I think it was number 6 overall in some rankings.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you know what Butch does. Like, Butch is a good coach. So,
and the men's
a good prediction.
Team 3-0 right now.
3-0, powering through, man. So it's a really exciting time to be an Auburn Tiger, even though football season.
Who they play next Friday?
This Friday would be Texas Southern, which can be a good football team. I don't know about football, but basketball team sometime. All right, buddy. It's good to hear from you tonight. Thanks for calling in as always.
War Eagle. Bye.
War Eagle. Good to see you. All right. You guys can call in too if you'd like. Don't be shy. I don't bite too hard. You can call in just like they did. You don't have to be on camera. It can be off camera. We're sitting at 8:36, it looks like. So we still got plenty of time. So the phone lines will stay open for a little bit. Can you imagine anyone being anything but nice to Kevin, even Bama fans? Absolutely. Kevin's like the king of optimism. He's the king of just Mr. Personality. Like, you don't look at Kevin and go, I'm going to be mean to that person, because he's always got a smile on his face. I wish I could be more like Kevin. We have another call. We'll get him in just a second. Back in the day when you could go to a scalper and get tickets for $35, they still are out there. They just have a harder time scalping now with everything digital. Jack's been talking a little bit about, yes, he writes for SI, right, Jack? So you can go check out his work over there at SI, Auburn SI. I forget how they do it, but Zach Blackerby and all his crew. Neil says the Auburn basketball needs to fly under the radar. Maybe so. there's something to be out there, strutting our feathers, like, peacocking and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like that. And Devin's talking about the Washington. Okay, I think we're caught up right now. Let's get our next caller in here and see what he's got on his mind tonight. There he is, Mr. Thomas Manville. What's going on, sir?
How are y'all this evening, War Eagle?
War Eagle to you, sir. Last home game. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. It's the last home game. Little bit of a challenge on defense. They have an excellent quarterback who can zip the ball pretty much wherever he needs to.
Right.
Defensively, I think we can handle it, especially because we brought Marcus Bragg over from Western Kentucky. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know their entire playbook. They're going to change some things up, but he understands the philosophy of the defensive coaches there. If they didn't change, and I haven't seen where they changed from last.
Right. So yeah, that's a cool little thread to have with them. We've had that a couple times this season where somebody was formerly or had a somewhat connection. Like I know, and it's taboo to talk about now, but Brian Harsin, our former head coach, had connections with the Mountain West, San Jose State, all that kind of stuff. We've had some threads like that all throughout the season, it seems like.
Yeah, you're right. There's been a couple of them, especially San Jose State, and we watched how that one turned out, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was a struggle bus from the start to the finish, to the tires falling off, to the other tire falling off. But that we made changes, so here we are now. Cadillac just this game as head coach,
right?
And I'm so proud of the guy. Like I think he's a born leader. At the same time, he's never been a coordinator. He's been a position coach. So the automatic put Caddy in for head coach talk, I'd calm it down a little bit, man.
So, yeah, it's interesting because people, will come to me and say, Kyle, do you want Caddy? And I say that's two questions. What does my heart would love that to happen? My head, though, trying to be, rational and reason. Not that I don't think Caddy can't be capable of managing that, but I'm trying to think about that concept holistically. Has it worked before? A assistant coach, not a coordinator, moving over and taking the job? Yes, it has. Will it happen this time? We don't know. Probably not. Would it be successful? We don't know. That's up in the air, right? Here's what's going to happen if somehow out of this whole process, if Caddy gets the job, you will not see me. It'll be a stream of me just screaming nonstop on it for about 30 minutes straight, and then I'll just end it. Like there won't be a word edgewise in for y'all. But let's also, like you said, let's bring it back a little bit. Let the process take. And look, here's the thing: when the process gets done, and if Caddy's at the end of the last list, then that means that they've seen something, they found something within that process that says, yeah, give him the job. Caddy has the best opportunity. He has in my opinion, this may be a bit of a hot take, he has the easiest route to the job than anyone because he can show on the field what he can turn around with Auburn. Yes, Lane can do it with his job. So can Hugh. So can whoever else you want to throw into that category. But he has the easiest case to make. So it's not going to be from a lack of opportunity or trying. So I'm sure they are looking at him, but they are seriously considering other options, probably even more.
Yeah, he's like you're saying, if he does the unthinkable, he's put himself in a really, really good spot. Yeah. But from everything that, sometimes we hear, sometimes it's just clickbait articles. There's a lot of big names out there right now, other than just Lane Kiffin. There seems to be a lot more traction with him, but there's a lot of other names out there. But I don't think we need to be jumping the gun and hiring a guy right now. There's still 2 more games left in the year. There's still a lot of these coaches that are being talked about that are going to be coaching in the postseason. So they're probably not going to pull the trigger if they're coming to Auburn and just go ahead. They're not going to go ahead and leave a program going into the postseason.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to hear a lot more, and there's going to be this name gets dropped, this factual evidence gets dropped. Here's a picture of this piece of paper. There's going to be stuff like that comes out, but until somebody's name is on that paper and they say, yes, I'm the new head coach, I'm doing my best to stay far away from it because I'm a little more concerned about finishing the last 2 games of the year and finishing well. Yep. We've got a very winnable game, and then we've got our Super Bowl. and probably Alabama Super Bowl this year.
Right. So
Poland, but
yeah, one thing I asked on my personal Twitter account today, and I don't know, I didn't look in a while to see if anybody responded, but the whole, did the Eagle fly good? I asked, did the Auburn planes fly good today? Because that's all everybody's been focusing on is the amount of time that people are spending tracking every single flight path possible and speculating on, oh, well, this was, this person dropping off in Destin that then came to Auburn, then went back to Olive Branch, I think it is, Mississippi. Look, let me put this to you right now. Jimmy Sexton is the biggest name in all of this. It ain't Lane Kiffin. It ain't Hugh. It ain't Jeff Grimes. It ain't Dion. I don't know who Dion's agent is, but Jimmy Sexton and whoever else agents are the ones that are traveling around making the calls, stuff right now. So yes, that stuff is going on. And so I think I meant to say it when Dusty was on earlier, but he had a lot of great points. You're going to hear stuff that is solid, like meaning this person's in the running, but then you're going to hear, well, there's these mysterious two big names out there. If you're an agent and you're not trying to get your candidate, even if they don't want to leave, at least in the process, you're not doing your job, because you're not trying to find them their job is to find them the best opportunity for the best money and make themselves money as well. So you're going to hear that. Does that mean that they're seriously considering coming, or that they're a real option for Auburn? No. So when you hear these things like big names or you've never heard of are coming or being considered, are they though? Like, is it just a process that the agent put their name into the bucket, So like, kind of like you were saying, we're going to hear things are going to come out. I've got this lead that tells me maybe we'll get a tip and we'll share it out there, but we're all probably more than likely not going to know anything for another 2 weeks solidly.
Yeah, and what makes you a big name for a coaching hire is being mentioned for lots of big jobs. Right. So, yeah, if you're saying the agents are doing their job, if they're putting their guy's name out there, even if he doesn't want anything to do with it, you get hired as a head coach by being the coordinator that everybody talks about and having success on the field. There's no shortage of guys that are having success on the field right now, but we just need to slow it down. There does not need to be any rush. I'm trusting John Cohen, the new AD, to make a home run hire the best way that he can. He's got his list of qualifications. I think he's going to be a good AD for us. I really liked Alan Green, but I'm a little bit more positive with John Cohen at the helm right now, just based on what Alan Green did while he was there.
So I think I mentioned this. I got to meet John Cohen this weekend for a very short minute. But the same feeling that I got from him in his press conference was the same thing in my very brief interaction with him. I liked Alan Green, and I will scream from the heavens, if you are happy with this basketball program, you better thank Alan Green, because he secured Bruce Pearl. But and he did many other things. That volleyball team that's on the rise right now, Britt Crouch, that's Alan Green. He brought, and this isn't going to mean a lot to a lot of people, but like, for me, who really loves track and field now, he brought over Leroy Burrell from Houston. That's going to pay dividends, in my opinion, soon. So there's a lot of things that Alan Green did that we should be very thankful for. But in terms of my perspective so far of not only perceptions, but interactions with John Cohen, pretty happy with it so far. And so that makes me think, in this coaching process, let the man do his job. And if he comes up with a name that seems a little squirrely, seems a little off kilter, don't panic. Let's just see what happens.
Right. We're going to have to trust in the administration, and as much as we don't like to do that or say that as Auburn fans, but we're going to have to trust in the administration to make the right calls, to get the right guy in there, and we're going to have to see how it goes. But something in my gut just says he's fixing to start swinging for the fences, and he's fixing to bring in a dude, and we're going to figure it out from there. But
right.
I don't think an off-the-wall guy that's an up-and-comer is the next big hire at Auburn. I think it's got to be somebody that's proven. And you can say a coach or a head coach or an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator is proven, but you got to do it on the field, because Harsin proved it on the field. He said, just watch, and we watched.
We're not going to let that go ever, are we?
No. That is firmly in my memory, and that will never go away. That hurt my dadgum feelings bad.
Oh, goodness. Oh, man. You know, the tragic thing about Harsin is, and I know this isn't a popular thing to say, but I'm going to say it. You know, everybody in the past, even Gus, you know, everybody's got some fondness, you know, related to him. People are going to forget that Harsin ended the LSU, you know, the years of losses in Baton Rouge. And that's the sucky part about this to me, is that every coach in my history that has left, with time passing, they are now welcomed back openly and please come back and see, like, not to coach, obviously, but just be with us, be part of the family. I don't think that's going to happen in this situation, unfortunately. And that's a black eye in some sense. It's a lot. The black eye comes from what he did or didn't do.
Yeah.
It's still a black eye.
Every team's had that coach at one point or another.
Yep.
I mean,
it's tough, man. It is. But no more about that. So, this game, we already talked about it a little bit. You know, we'll talk some more about it tomorrow night on our preview show. But I have, you know, expectations that we'll win it. Let me take you a step further, sir.
Okay.
Iron Bowl. What you think?
I think we are walking into a terrible situation because they're not at the top of the game right now.
Right.
The Iron Bowl, it's the game of games. It really is. And if you got just a bowl game to play for and your aspirations were national champions and that was within reach, this is now the Super Bowl for Alabama. But it's also our Super Bowl as an Auburn team and as Auburn fans. There's going to have to be something drastic happen. I mean, the way that the defensive line played this past weekend, they would have to double that against Alabama's offensive line, not just against their offense, just their offensive line. They have some spots that are a little, I'm not going to say there's loose hinges in their offensive line, but there's a couple things that they're creaking a little bit. They can be exploited, but you can't just focus on that. I mean, on paper, we do stand a chance. We just don't stand a chance on paper. That's the reality of it. But anybody can win at any time. And I'd love to see Auburn win. Nobody thought we were going to be anywhere close to in it last year with a hodgepodge team. And this year's a little bit more of a hodgepodge team than last year.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in me says we don't have a shot, but there's always that Auburn in me. And it needs no introduction. It's always there.
Well, and I think it goes further than that. I think you can, you know, take even the Auburn-Alabama aspect of it from this conversation, just talk about it from like, if you're looking on the outside looking in and just say, this is the Iron Bowl, what have we seen? You take all that paper, you take all those stats, you take all those games that have been played this season, and you literally push them into a pile and push them into the furnace. Because for whatever reason, now this usually happens to Jordan Hare, so I grant you that. This game never goes how you expect it. So what is the expectation? And we're going to talk more about this next week. You know, the expectation is, even with Alabama struggling, they should roll over. And that's likely what's going to happen. Roll over on us. But we saw last year, and that was a bit of an amazement too. So we'll see. You know, that'll all get figured out on the field soon enough. But I can say this, and I think you can say this too, and everybody else in the chat, you feel a lot more confident about it than you did about 2 weeks ago.
All right, fine. I'll admit it.
What else you got tonight, buddy?
Oh man, that's the end of it. And I know someone out there is watching. I would like to say thank you for your service in the Navy, Colby Cisco. I appreciate you, brother.
As always, yes, we had a great opportunity to thank our servicemen and women at the game this past weekend, and that was a good. They did a lot of good things for that. People, they were honored on the field. The one bad thing, I loved it being a night game, but they didn't get to do like a flyover or anything like that. That just feels like that needs to happen during those type of games. And with Texas A&M being there and their connection to the military and stuff like that, that just kind of fits. But we still found a way to honor all those people. So great call out there. Thomas, thanks for calling in tonight, buddy. Always appreciate hearing from you.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great evening, War Eagle.
War Eagle, buddy. All right, great to hear from Thomas. If you would like to call in, please do. We will leave the phone lines open for just a few more minutes. We're sitting at, what time is it here? 8:52. We're sitting at 8:52 right now. Hang on one second. There we go. So I can stay on, or really, if we're having great conversation, really not as long as y'all want, but for a little bit longer. Thank y'all for being, that's appreciated. Well, we thank you as a veteran. That's the thanks really go to you. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Iron Bowl at 6:30 next year. Dusty was saying he doesn't like the 2:30 kickoff for the Iron Bowl. To me now, it's not that I dislike it, but it's just so ingrained to me that it needs to be at 2:30 that I just don't mind it anymore. I prefer night games. When was the last night Iron Bowl? Was it like 5 or 6 years ago or something like that? I thought for sure the Iron Bowl this year was going to be 11 a.m. I think Coach Caddy is what pushed it back into the 2:30 slot. Because let's be honest, probably the Egg Bowl at some point this season had more intrigue than the Iron Bowl. Dusty, you don't have to tell me that Jamil Dean and Carlton Davis are balling. I just know that. Listen, you tell me which Auburn players are doing things in the NFL, the majority of them and most prominently, and it's the defensive backs. It's Carlton Davis. It's Jamil Dean. It's Jonathan Jones. Brandon King still with the Patriots, I believe. Javaris Davis is still out there, right? Noah Igbenogany. DBU, baby. DBU in the NFL. Don't want to hear none of this Texas or LSU is DBU. Look who's holding down both ends of the Tampa Bay secondary, and you tell me who DBU is. Are we supposed to say this, Devin? Like, I don't want to bring that is that like, is he watching? I don't want to. Egg Bowl is on Thanksgiving. Oh, that's right. I always forget that. So I kind of miss this, and I don't think it's this way this year. It used to be the Egg Bowl was on Thanksgiving. On Friday, it was Arkansas, LSU, the battle for the boot, which is now not there. Yeah, that doesn't happen that way anymore. Like, it's not their last game. And then on Saturday, it was the Iron Bowl. I used to love it that way. And, of course, you have Florida, Florida State, Clemson, South Carolina. Who cares? 2018 was the last night JHS. Do I remember that one? Was I at that one? Yes, I was at that one. I remember that one vividly now that you're saying it. It was not a fun one. Oh, we won, he said. Did we win that one? It couldn't, Dusty, it couldn't be 2008. It couldn't be. Because we lost 2009, Gene's first year, which would mean that it would have been in Tuscaloosa in 2008. So 2007, maybe. I mean, you may be looking at things that disagree with me on that, but that's how I remember it. Wasn't it the year that Carlton Davis ran the short field goal attempt back for the game-winning touchdown against Bama? Carlton Davis didn't do that. That was Chris Davis. There's a lot of Davises, but it's Chris Davis. There goes Davis. Yeah, that was not cool. Didn't like that at all. Not cool, man. Thank you. I thought I had that right in my head because I attended those. That's what, or most of those in that time frame. So I was going to say, I remember the 07 one because there were many reasons that personal reasons that was a bad day for me. But I didn't go to 8. I remember where I watched 8. 9, I was there. 10, I was there. So. Odd years are at JHS. There you go. It's a good way to remember it. Yeah, it's really weird. The Iron Bowl either is like perfect weather or freezing weather. Anybody remember the Ice Bowl, basically? The Ice Iron Bowl, which was 2000, where it was 9-0. That one was tough. I was at 2008. Got a free ticket. Pain, yes. I got into the 2017 or 15 for like $50, and like tickets were going for $200 in the upper deck. I don't know how I pulled it off. All right. What other topics do you guys want to hit tonight? Post it down there in the chat if you can. And we'll hit some of those things really, really quickly. Let me remind you of a couple of things, though, as we kind of get towards the end of our show tonight. First of all, if you haven't, smash the like button. It's very helpful to the show, to the channel here. Just realized that I'm like really high on the screen now. Why is that? Do those things for us. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? We're having a subscriber giveaway. You want to do that. You want to be a part of the channel anyway, but you want to enter yourself into the subscriber giveaway. First thing you need to do, subscribe. Second thing you need to do, because the amount of times that you do this second thing will increase your chances, leave a comment in every single video that you can, basically from this point on that you're seeing this. There are other ones past that are eligible too, but just when you get done with the live stream, come leave a comment in the comment section after it. It will be an extra entry into the drawing for you. You increase your chances of winning by leaving a comment in the comment sections of every single video that you can that is eligible. Description links will fill all the questions about that for you. I don't need that. Tomorrow night, pregame show, preview show for Western Kentucky. No Western Kentucky fans are scheduled unless I find one at the last second. So it'll be us hanging out, talking about that game in a little bit more detail, making preview and prediction stuff all night long, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Check out the links in the description. You can be a Booster Club member. You can be a channel member. All those ways you can support our content, or you can just be here, hang out with us, smash that like button, drop a comment, and be just your awesome selves, because you are the best little family within the Auburn family. And I mean that. Let's see. Let's hit some other topics that you guys are talking about. You and Brian love to like remind us all that we don't know what freezing weather is like. Listen, our little warm temperature bodies down here in the South can't acclimate the way you guys can. Suni Lee shout out. Yes. Very sad to hear her announcing that this will be her last year. Not unexpected, but very happy that we get to watch her one more time. I've seen her 3 times in person, and hopefully I'll get to see her one more time this year. Lawrence, love the stream. Thank you so much, sir. Do you want me to send you a Kentucky Yellow Pages to find a fan? No, I have my ways of finding people, but how to put it this way without, in case people see this. I try to get the right type of person on the shows as a guest and those type of things. And I hope that doesn't sound pretentious, but there are certain personalities that don't necessarily mesh or align with me personally, but also the type of content that I want to promote here. And so it's kind of like, you're probably never going to see a Barstool person here. No offense to Barstool. I watch some of their stuff. I listen to some of their stuff. I laugh at their social media stuff, but that's definitely not the angle that I'm taking here. So I have no problems finding avenues to find them. I just haven't found one out there that I really want to bring in yet. But if you know someone, let me know. I'll look them up. I like people like that person. I would love to have just like a person someone knows, not necessarily a personality within the Western Kentucky space. You adapt and layered up. I got you. All right. Final comments and questions tonight. What you got? Put them in there before we head out tonight. We don't want that either. I think a lot of people would like that. It's not what I want, though. And unfortunately, this is where I will be a dictator. It's my channel. I'll put on here what I want. I feel bad even just saying that on the stream. So, yeah, look, everybody's got their way of doing things. I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. It's just wrong. It's not just the way I want to do it. But anyway, all right, I'll give you a little bit more of a preview while you get your final comments and questions in. Again, tomorrow night, I'll be on campus all weekend. I think to Sunday too. Like I'll be going and coming back to Auburn through Auburn on Sunday. So a lot of content this week. Y'all need to pay attention and stay tuned this weekend because it is the last go round, last game day stuff that we're going to be able to do for you this season. Sad, but pumped for it. Thank you, sir. Very kind of you. Ooh, Devin, you want in? We don't do preview shows for basketball, but if you want in, That's one of the perks of being in the booster club, because at your level, you get to be on shows if you want to be on them. So if you want the content, all you got to do is say so. Within reason. We'll talk about it if we think it'll fit with what we're trying to do. But I know you're laughing about it, but never, you're in the booster club. That's one of your perks that you get. All right. If you can please get two JHS Saturday, tickets are reasonable. I agree. Come support Caddy. It's your last. Let me just put it to you this way. This is your last opportunity likely to see Coach Cadillac as your head coach in Jordan-Hare. It's cool, man. Don't miss it. I'm so thankful I was there, and I'm so thankful I'll be there for this go around. All right, folks, you have been a great group of people. Again, I mean that. Wednesday nights are my favorite nights of the week. A, because it's the easiest show I do all week, not because like there's not anything to talk about, but because there's so much to talk about, and because you guys make this my favorite show. You make it easy on me. I love chatting with you all. You guys are the best little family within the Auburn family. Do all those things we talked about, like smashing the like button, sharing it out with a friend, and please do share it out with a friend. That's how we grow organically our little family within the Auburn family. Thank you guys for being here. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Don't miss it. Western Kentucky preview. Till I talk to you again. War Eagle.